This is Plant-Based Briefing, 1 week of real-life plant-based dinners, Part 1, by Brigitte Gemme at veganfamilykitchen.com. And I'm Marian Erickson. This is the curated content plant-based podcast where I narrate a variety of articles on plant-based and vegan living with permission in about 10 minutes or less every weekday. And today's article would be a bit longer than that, so it's going to be a two-parter. I'll read Part 1 today and Part 2 tomorrow. This might be a good one for anyone you know who is making New Year's resolutions to eat healthier, or to eat more sustainably or more compassionately, or for people who are taking part in Veganuary. It's by Brigitte Gemme of veganfamilykitchen.com, and I subscribe to her meal plans. They're super simple, delicious, healthy, whole food, plant-based, but her website offers so much more than that. I'm a huge fan of her blog, and I receive her email newsletter, and she sent one out summarizing her most popular blog posts this year, and this one I had missed, so I was thrilled to see that. It's a bit older, it's from October of 2020, but it's a really good kind of behind the scenes of what families eat in a given week. I know I get asked this all the time, and I should come up with a proper answer, but half the time I'm like, I don't know, pasta? I need to actually formulate a proper answer for that because I'm not good thinking on my feet. But her website is a great resource. She also offers webinars once in a while. She's going to be doing some training. Her podcast, she interviews really different, unique guests. You can also find a link to her book on her website, which I think should be a must-read for any adult or young adult who will have to start feeding themselves soon. It's called Flow in the Kitchen, Practices for Healthy, Stress-Free Vegan Cooking. And it's not a cookbook, it's a mindset book. And it will shift your mindset and blow your mind about the value of cooking healthy vegan food. And she does offer recipes and tips, but such simple and powerful information in this book. So now let's get to today's plant-based briefing. 1 week of real-life plant-based dinners, Part 1 by Brigitte Gemme at veganfamilykitchen.com. What does my family eat for dinner? I thought I would share a pretty typical week of vegan family dinners at our table. As usual, I followed the Vegan Family Meal Plan linked here. I made a big effort to snap some quick pictures before starting to eat. I hope that new and aspiring vegans and plant-based cooks will find this real-life overview helpful. But first, let me remind you how essential meal planning and weekend batch cooking are for stress-free weeknight dinners. How do I plan my meals? The Vegan Family Meal Plans were first and foremost a tool I created for myself. When I decided to go fully plant-based, I found meal planning extremely overwhelming. Even years ago, there were already so many vegan blogs and cookbooks with delicious-looking plant-based recipes. What was I supposed to cook for dinner? What about nutrition for our growing children as much as for my husband and me, two athletic and hungry adults? And how much time could I realistically spend in the kitchen? My professional background was in project management for academic research, and I couldn't help but apply that approach to meal planning. The taste and wholesomeness of the meals were most important, so I figured I would have to make trade-offs between how fancy the dinners could be and how much time I'd spend. Perhaps we could have had it all by spending money on a personal chef or even meal kits, but that was out of the question. I wanted to know what was going into my food and learn how to cook plant-based meals for my family. The importance of weekend prep. For stress-free dinners that are tasty and healthy, but don't take hours to prepare, the key has been to break down the cooking into 2 phases. First, there is the prep session, which I prefer to do on Sunday afternoon. It takes between 1.5 to 2.5 hours, dishwashing included, and leaves me with a fridge full of building blocks for the week's meals. On weeknights, final assembly and a little cooking remains to be done, sometimes just reheating, sometimes a little more involved, and it never takes more than 15 to 30 active minutes. Following these principles, I created 1 year's worth of dinner plans and decided to share them with other cooks who want to feed their families more plant-based meals cooked at home from scratch. I still use them at home myself. In fact, I'm now in my 3rd rotation through the Vegan Family Meal Plans, improving the plans along the way so they're easier to follow. Once in a while, I change a whole recipe because I'm no longer satisfied about how it comes out, because my husband finds himself hungry after dinner, or because I figure another dish would be just as good while streamlining the weekend prep session. Here's an example of what we eat based on week 42 of the Vegan Family Meal Plan. I just released it this week after retesting it on my family. Cheesy macaroni with broccoli, chana masala mini pizzas, lazy bean risotto, cauliflower walnut tacos, and risotto cakes with steamed greens. Warning, no slick photography tricks. All the photos below were shots captured with my phone's camera just before I sat down for dinner. There are no props, no sophisticated food styling, using tweezers to adjust that leaf of parsley, and there isn't great lighting because it was at my dinner table at 6 p.m. In case you didn't know, those gorgeous photos you see on your favorite blogs are not based on real-life meals. Never compare your meals to what you see on Instagram. What I can say for sure, though, is that everything was delicious. Here we go, 1 week of real-life vegan meals on the Vegan Family Meal Plan. Monday, cheesy macaroni with broccoli. One of my favorite dinners that's also super duper quick, even if it's not the most visually appealing. Advanced prep, cheesy sauce. Dinner time, cook the macaroni and broccoli in the same pot, drain, but save 1 cup of the cooking water. Return pasta to the hot pot, but off the heat. Add cheesy sauce and some of the cooking water to coat the noodles well. I like to top it with vegan parm nuts. My son loves the macaroni and the parm nuts, and he's okay with the broccoli. My daughter is okay with the macaroni and had some hummus on the side, but no sauce or broccoli. There are almost always some raw-cut veggies on the table to snack on, too. My kids are particularly fond of tomatoes, cucumbers, red or orange bell peppers, and cauliflower florets. You just listened to 1 week of real-life plant-based dinners, Part 1, by Brigitte Gemme at veganfamilykitchen.com. And I'm your host, Marian Erickson. Tune in tomorrow for the second half of this post, where you'll hear about the rest of the week's meals, as well as a cool 1-hour batch cooking demo that she's done, and I'll have that linked in the show notes tomorrow as well. So please share this episode with anyone who might benefit, and thanks for listening.